I used to think yogurt was the safest food in my fridge. It was creamy, tangy, refreshing. I felt proud every time I scooped it into my breakfast bowl, especially after turning 50, when staying healthy seemed just a bit more complicated. But then came the bloating, the sluggishness, that heavy, uncomfortable feeling that lingered after eating even though I thought I was doing the right thing. I didn't realize it then, but the problem wasn't the yogurt itself. It was what I was pairing it with. Hi, I'm glad you're here. Because if you're over 50 like me or care about someone who is, this video could change the way you experience food, energy, and even your mood every single day. Yogurt is a superfood, but when combined with the wrong ingredients, many of which are hiding in your kitchen right now, it can quietly sabotage your digestion, flatten your energy, and wipe out the very probiotics that make yogurt so powerful in the first place. Over the next 30 minutes, you're going to learn the top 3 common mistakes people over 50 make when eating yogurt and how to avoid them. The 3 best food pairings that unlock its full digestive power. And simple, nourishing ways to enjoy yogurt every day without bloating, gas, or regret. But this isn't just about yogurt. It's about learning to listen to your body again. It's about aging with grace, not giving up the foods you love, but learning to enjoy them in ways that truly support your health. So, before you reach for that next bowl of yogurt, let me show you what I wish I had known years ago. Because just a few small shifts could help you feel lighter, stronger, and more vibrant than you have in years. Let me tell you about Marlene. She's 67, lives in Oregon, and starts every morning with a bowl of yogurt. Plain Greek yogurt, topped with blueberries, a little granola, and sometimes a drizzle of honey. She's been doing this for years. Not because someone told her to, but because it made her feel like she was taking care of herself, like she was starting the day off right. And for a while, it worked, but slowly, she began noticing something she couldn't explain. A strange heaviness in her stomach. She'd feel bloated by 10 a.m., tired before lunchtime, and her digestion felt stuck. She even started skipping breakfast some days, just to avoid the discomfort. When she told me her story, I asked her just one thing. Have you ever thought that maybe it's not what you're eating, but how you're combining it? You see, yogurt is alive. It's one of the few foods we eat that still contains living organisms-friendly bacteria, known as probiotics. These microscopic allies help break down food, fight off harmful bugs, and even communicate with your brain through your gut. But here's the thing nobody tells you. Those probiotics are delicate. They need a calm, welcoming environment in your gut to survive. And when you combine yogurt with certain foods, especially the wrong ones, you can turn a healing superfood into a digestive burden. Most people think, if I eat yogurt every day, I'm doing something good for my body, and in many ways, they are. But when that yogurt is buried under sugary granola, acidic fruits, or paired with a heavy protein dinner, it's like inviting a symphony into a war zone. The good bacteria can't do their job, they get destroyed or overwhelmed. And you're left wondering why something so healthy leaves you feeling tired, gassy, or heavy. Marlene's story isn't rare. It's one I hear all the time from people who genuinely want to take care of themselves, but who were never told how digestion changes after 50. As we age, stomach acid drops, enzymes slow down. The gut lining becomes more sensitive. Even foods we used to love can now trigger discomfort. And we blame ourselves, when the real problem is, no one taught us how to adapt. Just because something is healthy on its own doesn't mean it stays that way once it's combined. Think of yogurt like a healing tonic. It works best when it has space to shine, not when it's buried under ingredients that cancel out its benefits. Well, the first culprit is one you probably see in every health magazine, smoothie ad, or breakfast bowl on Instagram. Acidic fruits, and that's exactly where we're headed next. Let's unpack this common mistake and discover why even the most innocent-looking fruit can secretly sabotage your digestion. Let's go back to Marlene for a moment. You remember her, the lovely lady in Oregon who started every day with yogurt? Well, when I asked her what exactly she added to her yogurt bowl, she smiled and said, blueberries, sometimes raspberries, and when they're in season, grapefruit slices. It's the only way I can eat yogurt without getting bored. That was her routine. And in her mind, it was perfect. After all, fruit and yogurt are everywhere. In breakfast buffets, on cereal boxes, in ads with glowing models doing yoga on the beach. But here's what many people don't realize. Some fruits, especially the tart, tangy ones, don't get along with yogurt at all. Let's talk about acidic fruits. Oranges, pineapples, grapefruit, even some berries like raspberries or blackberries. These fruits may be full of vitamins, yes, but they're also loaded with acid, and that acidity can cause the dairy proteins in yogurt to curdle, not just in your bowl, but inside your stomach. Now imagine this. You start your day with yogurt and fresh fruit. The yogurt hits your stomach, bringing all those helpful probiotics along for the ride. But then the acidic fruit joins the mix, and suddenly, it's like a chemistry experiment gone wrong. Proteins clump, digestion slows, fermentation begins, and what should feel light and energizing turns into gas, bloating, and a lingering discomfort that lasts all morning. Marlene nodded as I explained. She paused for a second and said, "You know, I always blamed the yogurt. I thought maybe my stomach was too old for dairy. But I never questioned the fruit, and there it was, a simple misunderstanding, repeated day after day, that made her feel worse, not better." Even healthy foods can create unhealthy results when the combination is wrong. It's not about cutting out fruit. It's about knowing which fruits play well with yogurt and which don't. So, what can you do instead? Instead of raw citrus or tart berries, try this. Gently cooked apples with a dash of cinnamon. Warm, soothing, and full of pectin, a natural prebiotic that feeds your gut's good bacteria. Marlene tried it the next morning. She texted me later that week. "No bloat. I feel so light, it's like I got my old stomach back." The right fruit can heal. The wrong fruit at the wrong time can hinder. And speaking of timing, there's another common mistake I see far too often. It happens when people combine yogurt with something they think is healthy, but ends up doubling the digestive stress instead of supporting it. Have you ever had a summer afternoon snack that looked perfect, but left you feeling like your stomach was having a meltdown? That's exactly what happened to Frank. Frank is 70, lives in Arizona, and swears by eating light. He's careful, health conscious, and one of those rare people who actually enjoys grocery shopping. Every week during the warmer months, he'd buy fresh cantaloupe and a big tub of plain yogurt. "It's refreshing, low-calorie, and great for my digestion," he'd say proudly. He'd slice up a bowl of chilled melon, scoop on some creamy yogurt, and eat it while watching the evening news. A ritual that felt smart, simple, and satisfying until his stomach started speaking up. At first, it was just a little gas. Then came the bloating. Eventually, it turned into cramps and that foggy, heavy feeling that no amount of water could fix. When Frank finally mentioned it to his doctor, the reply surprised him. "Melon and yogurt, oh no. That's a classic combination for disaster. Here's why. Melons digest extremely fast. They're mostly water, light in fiber, and are designed to pass through the digestive tract quickly. Yogurt digests much slower. It's creamy, rich in protein, and takes its time in your stomach, especially after age 50, when enzymes and stomach acid naturally decrease. Now imagine putting those two together. The melon wants to race ahead. The yogurt says, "Hold on, not so fast." So what happens? The melon gets stuck behind the yogurt, and as it waits, it begins to ferment. Gas builds, bloating starts, and suddenly, what looked like a gentle snack becomes a digestive traffic jam. Frank couldn't believe it. He had no idea two healthy foods could cause such chaos just by being in the same bowl, so we made one simple change. He kept his yogurt, but moved the melon to the morning, eaten on its own, on an empty stomach. Just a few days later, he called me with a smile in his voice. "I feel 10 pounds lighter, and I didn't change anything else. I just listened to my body." Even the cleanest, freshest foods need the right timing and the right company. Melons are wonderful, juicy, hydrating, and perfect for summer. But they're best enjoyed alone. No dairy, no protein, just melon in its own time and space. So now we've seen two big mistakes. Acidic fruits that curdle your yogurt, melons that ferment behind it. But there's one more food group that causes even more digestive distress, especially if you're over 50. It's not fruit, it's protein. And yes, that includes your grilled chicken, your dinner steak, and even that healthy egg scramble. Let me introduce you to Robert. He's 66, lives in Wisconsin, and is one of those people who truly enjoys a good home-cooked dinner. His routine was comforting: grilled steak, a few roasted veggies, And then his signature finishing touch, a small bowl of thick Greek yogurt with honey and walnuts. I figured I was balancing the meal, he told me. Meat for strength, yogurt for digestion. I read somewhere it helps after eating. But over time, Robert started to notice a strange pattern. After dinner, he felt heavy, not just full but sluggish. Gas, bloating, sometimes heartburn, and a strange fog that carried into the next morning. And no matter how healthy he ate, those symptoms stuck around. So what was going on? The answer lies in something we often overlook. Digestion is a sequence, not a pile. Here's what I mean. Meat and other animal proteins require a high level of stomach acid to break down. They take time, energy, and effort, especially for a body over 50, where enzyme production naturally slows. Yogurt, while lighter, is still a protein-rich food, and it brings its own unique element. Probiotics live cultures that support your gut. Now imagine stacking these two proteins on top of each other, especially in a body that's already digesting more slowly. Instead of helping, the yogurt becomes an extra burden. The stomach is forced to overwork, the acid needed to digest the meat begins to rise, and that same acid can destroy the live probiotics in your yogurt before they have a chance to help. In Robert's case, what he thought was balancing his meal was actually confusing his digestion, so we made one simple adjustment. Instead of eating yogurt after dinner, he moved it to a mid-morning snack, just plain, maybe with a touch of cinnamon or flaxseed. By the end of the week, he was sleeping better, waking up lighter, and his digestion had noticeably improved. Yogurt isn't meant to follow a heavy meal. It's meant to be a meal on its own, a moment of calm for your digestive system. Think of digestion like a fire. If you throw too many big logs on at once, the flame dies. But feed it slowly, gently, and it will burn bright and clean. So we've talked about fruit, we've talked about melon, and now we've seen how protein overload can quietly sabotage your gut, especially when yogurt is caught in the middle. But there's one more combination that stirs up even more confusion in your body: spicy and fried foods. They're flavorful, they're fun, and they're often paired with yogurt as a cooling remedy. But is that really helping? Let's take a deeper look, because this common pairing may be doing more harm than good. Gloria, 65, has a Friday night tradition. Every week, she treats herself to a little indulgence: crispy vegetable samosas, warm and golden, straight from her favorite Indian takeout spot, and on the side, a bowl of cool, creamy yogurt with a dash of mint and a pinch of salt. It balances everything out, she said. The yogurt cools down the spice, it's perfect. At least, that's what she believed, until she started waking up every Saturday morning with a strange sense of fog. Her joints felt stiff, her stomach felt slow, and that lightness she used to feel after a good meal was nowhere to be found. Here's the surprising truth: yogurt doesn't always calm a spicy or greasy meal. Sometimes it makes it worse. Let's look at why. Spicy foods like chili, hot peppers, curry, or cayenne stimulate the stomach lining. They raise internal heat, increase blood flow to the digestive tract, and can sometimes irritate sensitive tissues, especially as we age. Yogurt, on the other hand, is cooling. It's moist, creamy, and considered mucus-forming in traditional medicine systems like Ayurveda. So what happens when you eat them together? Your gut receives two conflicting signals at once: heat and cold. The digestive system becomes confused, overactive in one moment and sluggish in the next. This confusion can lead to bloating, reflux, or even inflammation, especially when combined with fried foods. And that brings us to the second part of this fiery equation: fried food samosas, pakoras, spring rolls. Fried chicken may taste amazing, but they're often cooked in heavily processed oils that are hard to break down. They sit heavy in the stomach, demand a lot of effort to digest, and can trigger inflammatory responses in the body, especially in the joints. Add yogurt on top of that. You get a digestive overload: rich, heavy, slow, and confusing for your system. When I explained this to Gloria, she looked stunned. "I thought yogurt was saving me from the spice," she whispered. But maybe it was just hiding the symptoms, so we made a shift. She still enjoys her Friday samosas, but without yogurt. Instead, she adds a side of lightly steamed greens or a cucumber salad, something that cools without disrupting digestion. Then, a few hours later, once her stomach has settled, she enjoys her yogurt calm, separate, and soothing. By the second weekend, she was waking up fresh again, no fog, no bloat, just clarity. Sometimes, our fix is actually part of the problem. Yogurt isn't a cure-all. When paired wisely, it supports healing, but when thrown on top of fire and grease, it gets caught in the chaos, and so does your gut. So, we've now uncovered 4 powerful lessons. Acidic fruits can curdle yogurt. Melons can ferment behind it, heavy proteins can smother its benefits, and spicy, fried foods can send your digestion into a tailspin. But what if the problem isn't just the food? What if part of the problem is when you're eating it? Let's explore one of the most overlooked secrets to healthy yogurt digestion: timing. Because the when can be just as important as the what. Meet Diane. She's 71, lives in Vermont, and has a quiet, comforting morning routine. She wakes up early, opens the window, listens to the birds, and makes herself a small breakfast: a slice of toast, a boiled egg, and a cup of tea. But her favorite part, a bowl of yogurt, smooth, simple, satisfying. It helps me stay regular, she told me, and it feels gentle on my stomach. But here's the twist. Diane wasn't eating yogurt in the morning. She was eating it at night, right after dinner, sometimes even as a dessert. And for a while, she thought it was fine. But then the symptoms crept in: bloating, trouble sleeping, acid creeping up her chest, and that strange, cloudy heaviness that made her mornings feel like molasses. She never blamed the yogurt, because yogurt is supposed to help, right? Well, yes, but only if you eat it at the right time. Here's what we often forget: our digestive strength changes throughout the day. Just like energy, focus, or even body temperature, digestion has rhythms too. In the morning, your body is just waking up, digestion is gentle, but getting stronger. Around mid-morning to early afternoon, your metabolism hits its peak. This is when your body is most efficient at breaking down food. After sunset, digestion begins to slow, enzymes reduce, gut movement weakens. Your system prepares to rest, not to process complex meals. Now think about yogurt. Yogurt is cooling, protein-rich, and slow to digest, especially in older adults. So if you eat it late at night on top of a big dinner, it can sit in your gut like a stone. Instead of soothing, it becomes heavy. Instead of helping, it overwhelms. That's exactly what was happening to Diane. We made one simple change. She moved her yogurt to a mid-morning snack, around 10 a.m., between breakfast and lunch. Just a small bowl, maybe with a spoonful of ground flax or soft-cooked fruit. By the end of the week, she called me excited and a little amused. I haven't felt this light in years. I sleep better, and my belly feels like it's smiling at me. When you eat can matter just as much as what you eat. Especially after 50, timing isn't just a detail, it's a tool. Eating yogurt in the late morning or early afternoon can support digestion, boost energy, and prevent discomfort. And if you really love it as an evening treat, make it light, small, and well before bedtime. Now, we've talked about timing, but there's still one piece of the puzzle left unfinished. You see, not all yogurts are created equal. Some are creamy and full of life. Others are packed with sugar, additives, and barely contain any probiotics at all. So how do you know which kind to choose? Let me tell you about Thomas. Thomas is 68 and lives just outside Seattle. He's a thoughtful man, reads labels, shops organic when he can, and truly cares about what he puts into his body. For years, he thought he was making a healthy choice. He'd pick up those little fruit-flavored yogurts from the grocery store: strawberry, peach, vanilla swirl. He liked the convenience. The taste reminded him of dessert, and the packaging said, made with real fruit. Source of probiotics. I figured it was a win-win, he said. Good for my gut and a treat I could feel good about. But something didn't feel right. Even though he was eating yogurt daily, his digestion wasn't improving. In fact, he felt more bloated than before. His blood sugar was up. And those afternoon crashes, worse than ever. So, what was going on? The answer was simple but eye-opening. Not all yogurts are created equal. Let's break it down. 1. Flavored or fruit-on-the-bottom yogurts. These are often loaded with added sugars, sometimes up to 20 grams per serving. That's more sugar than a scoop of ice cream. Worse yet, the sugar can actually feed harmful bacteria in your gut, working against the probiotics you're trying to support. Tip: always check the label. Look for added sugars, not just total sugar too. Non-fat or low-fat yogurts. Sounds healthy, right? But when fat is removed, food companies often add stabilizers, thickeners, or sweeteners to make up for lost texture and flavor. Plus, your body needs a little fat to absorb fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, and K. Tip: go for full-fat, plain yogurt when possible. It's more satisfying and more nourishing. 3. Greek yogurt versus regular yogurt. Greek yogurt is strained, making it thicker and higher in protein, great for satiety. But not all Greek yogurts contain live cultures, especially if they're heavily processed or ultra-filtered. Tip: look for labels that say live and active cultures. That's where the real gut-supporting power lives. 4. Dairy-free options like coconut, almond, or soy yogurts. Great for those with dairy intolerance. But be mindful, some of these products contain very little protein and a long list of additives. Some are more dessert than health food. Tip: choose unsweetened varieties and add your own fruit or cinnamon for flavor. When Thomas made the switch from sugary strawberry cups to plain, full-fat yogurt with a sprinkle of cinnamon and flaxseed, his body noticed. The bloating eased, his energy became steadier, and for the first time in years, he felt like his food was actually working with his body, not against it. Just because something comes in a small cup and says probiotic doesn't mean it's helping you. The right yogurt is simple, clean, and alive. No need for neon fruit, cartoon packaging, or fancy slogans. Real yogurt doesn't need to shout, it just needs to nourish. So now, you know what not to combine with yogurt. You've learned the best timing and how to choose the right type. But what about the flip side? What are the best, most healing foods you should combine with yogurt to unlock its full power? Up next, we're going to explore the most supportive, gut-loving companions to yogurt. Starting with something warm, soft, and surprisingly powerful. Cooked apples with cinnamon. Trust me, your gut is going to thank you. Now that we've talked about what not to pair with yogurt, let's flip the page. Because here's the good news. When you combine yogurt with the right foods, you don't just avoid problems. You unlock a quiet kind of healing. Let's start with Mary's story. Mary is 72, lives in Pennsylvania, and loves to cook for her grandchildren. She's always had a soft spot for sweet breakfasts, so when she switched to plain yogurt to support her digestion, she missed the flavor, the warmth. It just felt cold and boring, she said. And I didn't want to add sugar, so I gave her a simple idea. Gently stewed apples, a pinch of cinnamon, a spoonful of yogurt. She raised her eyebrows. That's it, but she gave it a try. Here's why it worked beautifully. Cooked apples are soft, easy to digest, and rich in pectin, a type of soluble fiber that acts as a prebiotic, feeding the good bacteria in your gut. Cinnamon isn't just comforting, it's a natural anti-inflammatory, helps regulate blood sugar, and can soothe the gut lining, especially in older adults. And when you bring all that together with yogurt, you get a gentle digestive symphony. Probiotics from the yogurt, prebiotics from the apple, warmth and calm from the cinnamon. Within a week, Mary called me laughing. I feel like my stomach is giving me a hug after breakfast. It's the first time in months I've eaten and felt good right after. That's the power of pairing probiotics plus prebiotics. It's not about trendy superfoods or expensive supplements. It's about simple, supportive combinations that your body recognizes and welcomes. And apples aren't the only star in this story. Here are 2 more quiet heroes you might already have in your pantry. 1. Ground flaxseed or chia seeds. Tiny, yes, but mighty. Just 1 tablespoon of freshly ground flaxseed gives you omega-3 fatty acids, anti-inflammatory support, lignans, great for hormone balance, soluble fiber, hello, smoother digestion. Chia seeds, when soaked, turn into a gentle gel, which can help lubricate your digestive tract, ease elimination, and stabilize blood sugar levels. Tip: mix seeds into your yogurt and let them sit for a few minutes. Or soak chia seeds overnight in almond milk and stir in your yogurt in the morning. 2. Prepared oats. Cooked or soaked yogurt and oats, a classic. But how you prepare them makes all the difference. Raw, dry oats can be harsh, especially for a mature gut. But cooked oats or overnight oats are soft, creamy, and rich in beta-glucan, a special fiber that feeds gut bacteria and supports heart health. Imagine this: a bowl of warm oats, cooled just slightly, topped with a dollop of plain yogurt, a swirl of soft cinnamon apples, and maybe a sprinkle of flax. It's more than breakfast. It's digestive nourishment wrapped in comfort. When we gave Mary this trio, cooked apples, seeds, and oats, she didn't just feel better. She looked brighter, more energy, more ease. And most importantly, more joy in her meals again. Healing doesn't have to be hard, it can be warm, familiar, and right in your kitchen. When you combine the right foods with yogurt, you're not just eating. You're building a microbiome that supports energy, immunity, and even mental clarity. So now you've seen the full picture. What to avoid, when to eat, what to choose, and how to make it beautiful again. But we're not done, because sometimes, even after we change our habits, we still carry questions. Why did no one tell me this before? Why did I have to struggle for so long with food that was supposed to help me? That's exactly what we're going to explore in our final 2 chapters, starting with the stories of real people, like you, who made one small shift, and everything changed. Sometimes, the biggest breakthroughs don't come from bold moves or drastic diets. They come from tiny shifts done with care, consistency, and a little bit of curiosity. Let me tell you about 3 people who made one small change and discovered just how much better life could feel. Thomas, from sluggish to sharp. You remember Thomas, the gentleman from Seattle who used to rely on those sugary fruit yogurts? Well, after learning about live cultures and hidden sugars, he swapped out his daily flavored yogurt for a simple bowl of plain Greek yogurt, topped with a spoonful of ground flaxseed and a sprinkle of cinnamon. Nothing fancy, no extra prep. Within 5 days, he felt more alert in the afternoons. His digestion became regular again, and the best part, I stopped needing that 3 p.m. coffee. He laughed. My brain finally felt awake without it. Diane, the return of morning lightness. Diane, our early riser from Vermont, used to eat her yogurt after dinner, thinking it would help settle her stomach. Instead, it left her bloated and foggy every morning. With just one change, moving her yogurt to a mid-morning snack, with soft apple slices and a touch of cinnamon, she started sleeping better, waking up lighter, and enjoying her mornings again. I stopped dreading breakfast, she told me. Now it feels like something my body looks forward to. Robert, unpacking the protein puzzle. And then there's Robert, the steak and yogurt guy from Wisconsin. He thought adding yogurt after a heavy dinner made the meal complete, but it was only weighing him down. Now, he enjoys his yogurt on its own, earlier in the day, sometimes with soaked chia seeds or overnight oats. The heaviness disappeared, and so did his nightly acid reflux. It wasn't about giving up yogurt, he said. It was about learning when and how it wanted to help me. You don't need to overhaul your life to feel better. You just need to notice what your body has been trying to tell you and begin to listen. Sometimes, it's not about doing more, it's about doing things with more intention. A shift in timing, a change in ingredients, a return to simpler, kinder meals. And slowly, digestion begins to heal, energy begins to rise, and food becomes a friend again, not a burden. So, now you've seen the proof, not just in theory, but in life. But before we finish, let's bring it all together. In our final chapter, I'll walk you through a gentle, daily roadmap, a simple way to enjoy yogurt with wisdom, avoid common pitfalls, and build small rituals that support your strength, your gut, and your joy, one spoonful at a time. By now, you've probably realized, yogurt isn't just food. It's a living, breathing companion for your gut, and like any good companion, it thrives when treated with a little thoughtfulness. So let's pull it all together step by step, not with guilt, not with pressure, just with care, clarity, and kindness. Your yogurt ritual blueprint. Here's what to avoid. Acidic fruits like oranges, pineapples, grapefruit, and certain berries gives they curdle the yogurt and slow digestion. Melons gives they digest too fast, causing fermentation when eaten with yogurt. Heavy proteins like meat, eggs, or fish gives overload your stomach, neutralize probiotics. Spicy and fried foods gives confused digestion with conflicting heat and heaviness. And here's what to embrace. Cooked apples with cinnamon gives warm, soothing, rich in prebiotics. Ground flaxseed or soaked chia seeds gives add fiber, omega-3 south, and digestive support. Prepared oats cooked or soaked gives deliver beta-glucan fiber and pair beautifully with probiotics. Plain, full-fat yogurt with live cultures gives nourishing, simple, and effective. And the best time to enjoy it, between meals. Mid-morning or early afternoon, when your digestive fire is strong and ready. Make it a light, gentle snack. Let it stand on its own or with one of the supportive pairings above. You don't need a lot. Just enough to feed your gut, calm your system, and remind your body that you're paying attention. Let me tell you about Evelyn, one last time. She's 74, lives in Michigan, and for years, she struggled with bloating so persistent she started avoiding breakfast altogether. She believed her body just couldn't handle much anymore, but all she really needed was a few thoughtful adjustments. Now, her morning begins with a small bowl of warm oats, a spoonful of cinnamon-spiced apples, a scoop of plain yogurt, and a touch of ground flax. It's not a miracle, but it's a ritual. And that ritual changed her relationship with food and herself. It feels like I've made peace with my body again, she told me. And that is where healing begins. Better digestion doesn't start with rules. It starts with awareness, with curiosity, with kindness, and with the quiet wisdom of choosing what feels right for your body in this season of life. So tomorrow morning, when you open the fridge and reach for that little tub of yogurt, pause. Ask yourself, what would nourish me today? What pairing feels warm, light, supportive? Maybe it's warming up those apples, maybe it's sprinkling some seeds. Or maybe it's just yogurt, all on its own. However you choose, make it a moment of care, because your body is always listening, and every spoonful is a chance to say, I'm here. I've got you. If this message spoke to your heart, if you learned something that you want to try, please share this video with someone you care about, a friend, a sister, a neighbor. Someone who, just like you, deserves to feel lighter, stronger, and more at peace with their body. Until we meet again, stay curious, stay kind, and take gentle care of yourself.